Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to E-Bike Adventures with Freight Dog Danny. For those of you that may not have seen any of my videos in the past, I am Freight Dog Danny, and I am a retired Air Force pilot and also a retired airline pilot. I've flown freight all over the world. Let me slow down and fix this bag. I forgot to secure it. Just one zipper, and I may lose my wallet. There, we're good to go now. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm a retired Air Force pilot and retired airline pilot, and I have flown freight pretty much my entire adult life all over the world, hence the name Freight Dog Danny. We are located in Preble County, Ohio, in the city of Eaton. And right now we're in one of my favorite places to start my ride, and that is Fort St. Clair, which is a post-Revolutionary War fort built in 1792. Today we're not going to do anything in particular. We're going to recap my range check in my last video. And we're going to talk a little bit about fitness with the diet that I just got started on. And we're going to make it a short video today, hopefully no more than about 15 or 20 minutes. Hi. Okay, let me pass these folks. Passing on your left, folks. Okay, if you saw my last video, that was on a range check for this bike. That is the Aventon Aventure. And together we went on a 35.5 mile ride, and the parameters for that test was one big ass rider, and that's me, just shy of 300 pounds, differing from the lightweights that Aventon probably used on their range check to get a 45 mile that they put in the owner's manual. And I pedaled the whole way in pedal assist 3 without using any throttle other than a little goose to get me started. And I was pretty surprised and satisfied with 35.5 miles. Now, at this point, I don't have any need in going that far. Today I'm doing a 25 mile ride, but I'm only throttling while I'm talking to you. The rest of the time I'm going to be pedaling the whole way. But yeah, at some point in the future, I'm going to need an extra battery to go farther distances. I can see that happening, but probably not this season. So I'm happy with a 25 mile ride. Now, one of the limitations that I found was not my stamina with having pedaled for 35 miles, but it was the limitations of my buttocks. I found that was just too much, even with taking a break. Thanks. Even with taking a break about halfway through, that was just too much. I thought I had a pretty good seat. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head right now. It was an upgraded seat that I got when I purchased the bike. It's a Cloud 9, that's it, a Cloud 9. And I'll put a link in the description for anybody that's interested. For just gentle riding, you know, no more than about 20 miles, it's probably fine. But for an extended ride like I did, like I said, even with taking a 5-minute break in the middle, my buttocks were aching the whole way, and I found myself having to stand up in the saddle quite a bit. And so I'm going to be actively seeking a better saddle to continue my long distance rides with, that's for sure. But yeah, like I said, 35.5 miles for a big guy like me. When Aventon said to expect a 45 mile range, Again, that was probably with a level test track, no wind, and a lightweight rider in just the most ideal conditions. And I had some pretty good hills, you know, nothing that was going to affect the range too much, I don't think, but I didn't have to throttle up them. I was able to use that pedal assist 3 and gears 7 and 8, and didn't have any trouble. I was able to get over those hills with no problem at all. But again, it maybe affected the range a little bit, but I don't think it was a whole lot. But anywho, the subject of today's ride, besides that, and a little bit on my fitness, is Google Maps, a good map source to use for e-bikers or cyclists in general. Google Maps does have a cycling button that you can push, and they appear to try to get you on bicycle routes whenever they can. Stand by for this noise here. I'll see what I can do as far as... Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. I'll see what I can do as far as lowering that decibel level when I edit the video. Now, coming up straight ahead is where I almost fell in the last video, so we'll see if I can plan this turn a little bit better. This is kind of a busy little stretch of road here in Eaton, and I always got to stop and check for traffic. What happened the other day was I found myself on this slight decline, and I hit the front brake, and I was off the saddle just like I am now, both feet on the ground, and I hit the front brake, and the center of gravity shifted forward, and the rear wheel came off the ground, and I was struggling to keep myself from falling down. Now the traffic's clear, let's go. So I stopped the video and we talked about that a little bit. But it's just one of the hazards, you know, if you're going to fall on these things, as I've said many times before, it's when you're slow speed maneuvering, trying to do a low speed 180-degree turn, or you stop at a stop sign and the weight of the bike gets away from you. And that's what happened to me the other day. But anywho, like I was saying about Google Maps, they do appear to try to keep you on a bike route whenever they can. And if anybody, I'm sure many of you have used Google Maps in your car before, on your cell phone. And Google keeps the road hazard reports, accidents, construction delays, and road closures in their database. So they do the same thing with biking. I've been using Google Maps while cycling, and the other day my wife had a doctor's appointment down in the Wright-Patterson Air Force Base area, and that's Fairborn, Ohio, and that's also the home of Wright State University. Well, there's a interstate highway that cuts right by the Wright State University. It's I-275, and on the other side of that interstate is an area with a lot of restaurants and shopping. And so I dropped my wife off at this doctor's appointment. She was going to be at least an hour, hour and a half. And so I said, okay, I just started this new carnivore diet. So let me see if I can find a breakfast buffet where I can load up on sausage and bacon and eggs and get started on my breakfast for the day. So I did a search for a Frisch's Big Boy restaurant, which most of them have a breakfast buffet, and sure enough there was one 3 miles away. So I clicked on go, and it was attempting to take me through a bunch of parking lots, and it just didn't seem to be working out. So I went to the restaurant just by my knowledge of the local roads, and what my Google Maps was still in the cycling function, and it was attempting to get me to a pedestrian bridge that goes over the interstate, which would have been a shortcut for me to get to that restaurant. But of course I couldn't do that in my car. So I thought that that was pretty good, that Google Maps was trying to find a way to get me there on my bike, and it worked out pretty good. Also, just the other day, I promised a friend of mine that I would come to visit him at the Richmond Municipal Airport in Indiana, where he was going to be giving rides for the day in his World War II era pilot training plane that's called a North American T-6 Texan. And it looked a little bit like rain, so I decided not to go. I didn't want to go on it. That would have been 26 miles round trip, and I didn't want to get, 15, 20 miles from home and get caught in the rain. So I drove out there instead, and I checked the route. Let me stop here, let him go, and we're clear. I checked the route on Google Maps for biking out there previous to this, and I found that it was giving me about 9 or 10 different turns that I felt were unnecessary, because coming out of Fort St. Clair, it's 2 turns to get on this state highway, and then it's like 12 miles on this state highway over into Indiana, with 1 turn to get on another road, and then 1 turn into the airport, for a total of 4 turns. And this thing was giving me 9 or 10 turns. When I drove out there, come to find out, there were several road closures on these county and state roads, and Google Maps was getting me around that. So I think that Google Maps is a pretty good mapping app to use for cyclists. I know there's some others out there that I have not tried, but they probably do not have the road hazards and the road closures the same way that Google does. And since bike paths are not plugged into the Department of Transportation database, I highly doubt if you have a closure of a bike path that it's going to be listed on any of those other apps. So if anybody knows any better, put a comment below and let me know, and I'll stand corrected. Now, the diet program that I just started, I mentioned it in the last video. That is the Carnivore Diet, which is an extreme form of a paleo or a keto diet, where you are pretty much surviving on beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. You can also have fish and chicken. But other than that, no fruits and vegetables, no vegetable oils. You got to keep things confined to animal fat, basically, and you want to get as much fat as you possibly can. Even go as far as substituting for vegetable-based cooking sprays. They have a product out called duck fat, and the other products that I'm cooking in is just butter and bacon grease. There's another product called beef tallow, but I can't seem to find any around here, so I'm probably going to have to order it off Amazon. But so far, so good on this diet. I'm on day 9, and it's my understanding that you suffer withdrawal symptoms at some point after you start, and I think that I may have started that, and that is withdrawal from carbohydrates and processed foods. And so, much like any other addiction, if you try to stop smoking or try to stop drinking or any other addiction, there's a good chance that you're going to get what's known as the keto flu. And I think that I began to experience some of that this morning. I had an extreme fatigue, and I just had to take a little nap for about an hour or so. And I think I'm out of it. I'm not sure how my stamina is going to hold up today. So I'm trying to keep it kind of close to home. I'm trying to do a 25-mile ride, but we'll see how the keto flu treats me. But anywho, I'm going to give you updates about once a month, if I'm able to stick with this thing, and let you know how I'm doing on weight loss and loss of inches and measurements and stuff like that. So stay tuned, and we'll see what happens. It may be a good way for you guys to go. Many of you have probably already done paleo and keto, But like I said, this is an extreme form where you're swearing off all vegetables and fruits and pastas and things of that nature. But with that, that's about all I have to say today. So once again, hit like and subscribe and share on your social media. Leave me some comments below. I really would like to see some constructive criticism. One of the criticisms I received recently is that my videos are too long, and I can definitely see that, and so we'll try to keep them short in the future. So with that, we'll see you guys next time.